Welcome to ACD Combatives, your combatives and control tactics channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hey guys, Coach Kurt. I'm going to do a follow-up on the video I did the other day about the vest. It was kind of a video where it was a talk-over for field training. And I'm going to follow up with actual visuals, some of the things I'm talking about, so bear with me here. I had mentioned the different kinds of holsters and everything on my duty belt. I use, typically magazines in the front, obviously on your belt. Obviously your firearm is going to be on your belt. And guys, I'm old school, I'm 51, and we did not have weapon flashlights when I started law enforcement. They didn't actually come to a point where you could actually, I take that back, I had an agency accounting I used to work for back in the day that allowed us to have weapon mounted lasers.
I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
We had to qualify with and without the laser on our pistol, but that was real popular for a while. I'm not pro laser anymore. It was just a cool new thing when I first got into law enforcement, lasers. But flashlights in the mid-90s to late 90s were big and bulky, and you wouldn't have them on your weapon.
How convenient that we only have your word for that.
Now it's almost a necessity. So I highly recommend that you have a weapons light on your weapon. So here's what I have. I have the X300 Ultra. I like it because I can, in a bad situation, I can get it off really easy. You definitely want to flag yourself when you're doing that. But let's say your batteries burn out and you have to throw it away in the middle of a search. I know that I'm a crazy man, but I carry a backup one in my pocket, and it's actually the one that I use for every day, like, I'm searching a car or something. It's perfectly good for actually a handheld light. It fits in the hand really well. So one goes on the weapon as it should. There we go. One goes on the weapon as it should, and you can push straight to activate the light. You can toggle it left or right. So it's a really flexible light. I really like it. The Surefire is a phenomenal light, but you kind of screw it on, and it's not as easy on and off.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Good level 2 security holster. As you can see, I've got the hood, and I also have a push button. Technically, this is a level security, so technically it's a level 3, but I think that's BS. This is just here because y'all know if you have the hooded holster that your elbow comes down on it when you're patrolling, and it's always open. I'm always having to tell my recruits, hey, the hood is open, usually on the taser now. And we'll go to the taser next, because I think this is super important. Again, the taser holster, which is, in this case, another Safariland, they make the best, absolutely most rugged holsters. I'm sure there's other great holsters out there, but the Serpa and the Blade Tech are shit holsters for tasers. They'll rip right. I've seen them ripped off of belts in training, or control tactics, martial arts, what have you. I like to roll. Well, for the longest time, I had a private lesson with my jiu-jitsu coach where once a week I went with my gear, an outer vest. You've seen my training vest in the videos. This is my training vest that I roll with. It's I have old armor in here that's expired, but it's perfect for training. And then I actually have this great holster. I actually crazy glue the base so it won't pop off, because they actually design these holsters to take off really easy. I crazy glued it so you have to slide it in and on and off. I don't want that popping off, because I've actually seen that too.
Yes, you're very smart. Shut up.
But the key to this holster, Safariland makes an aftermarket, well, it's their part, so I don't think it's considered aftermarket, but you know what I mean. It doesn't come with the holster normally. You have to slide that button down so you can release the top hood. Guys, if you are going to do this, and I highly recommend you do, it's like a not even $5 part that you add to the holster yourself. You don't need an armor or anything to do it. It comes with directions, super easy. I've had this on for years. You should practice at least 2,000 draws with it.
Logical.
This is why I have a training belt. I have a training belt. I don't need to show it to you. It's set up identical to my work belt. It's got a mishposh of stuff, both basket weave and in nylon, because it doesn't matter, it's my training belt. But it's super important that it's set up identical so there's no training scars. So again, with this little device, you rock it back, and then it allows the hood to go forward. You re-engage the hood, and you re-engage this lock switch. That way you can't accidentally lean on it, which so many cops do on accident. Again, switch that down, rock that forward, and out comes your taser. And it's secure. So, at this particular moment, you see this old school asp in my belt. I usually carry a Monadnock, but the other day I was carrying this asp, which is supposed to be high-tech, high-speed, low drag.
It's a fake.
And I was helping somebody put chains on their car, and it was a BMW, so there was like no space. My trainee and I were getting this chains in there, so I actually popped this out so I could push it in, and as you can see, this end pops out now. So shame on you for making such a shitty high dollar item. This is like 150 bucks that I paid for it out of my own pocket.
Shame! 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 Shame!
I would highly recommend the Monadnock variation, still push button. I've raved about Monadnocks before. You've got what they call this is safety tip. Guys, it's not going to take away from the strike, and it's not going to collect DNA, which is the super important aspect about the Monadnock.
I aim to misbehave.
It feels a little more clunky, but it's a good baton. If you're curious about this is the DT nubbin. They don't even make it anymore. It's a King County thing. There's a master control tactics instructor, I'm pretty sure is now retired, but he developed a lot of these products, and it's a terrific product. I did want to cover again the outer vest and the light. Again, this is not my work vest. This is a training vest. But you mount your flash or your camera on your vest, and a lot of officers, I've told them during control tactics, there goes your camera, because you've all done it where you've wrestled with somebody, took them down, put them in handcuffs, and your Axon camera goes, woo, gone, and it's pointless. If you were in the Army, you know about the daisy chain. I put this bastard on everything when I was in the Army, because you know your canteens, that's how old I was in the Army. We had canteens, we didn't have camelbacks, but you daisy chained everything. You'd see like a 12-mile air assault ruck march, and people's shit would be dragging behind them because they had a daisy chain. But I just have this, as you know, this magnetizes to the inner pocket or wherever you have it mounted. This camera is not coming off of this base. It is on there to stay. It's well made, but this pops off all the time. So I recommend that you do some kind of daisy chain where this hooks onto your outer vest. And someone said, well, how do you do that? Well, that's how you do it. This is for my current trainee. She loves knives, but there is various knives on the market. This is a Valley Song knife. I have carried this in the past. This is a great, one of these are the type of knives I like to carry off duty because it clips in the front of your pocket or in front of your pants. I carry a knife off duty, at least one. Another good variation, if I can find it, here it is. It's another Valley Song. It's a push knife. This would be a good boot knife. Guys, I always carry 3 or 4 knives on duty. I'm a big advocate of a backup gun, but you know, as I get older, and statistically speaking, you will never need your backup gun ever. Will you need to wrestle with people and go hands-on? Yes. Statistically speaking, you'll never have to shoot anybody in your career. So you still carry your gun, but I used to be really stickler about carrying a backup gun. And I don't really push that anymore. All the firearms instructors are going to go, no, you should have 20 guns on you. The more ounces on your body, the less practical it is when you're actually working. You don't want to be Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You want to be as svelte as possible. But knives are great in close quarters. You can get them inexpensively. These are 2 good knives. I'm a big fan of the K-bar knife. Guys, I can't say anything bad about this knife. There's some really good aftermarket sheaths that are better, but if you're going to get these type of knives, practice with them. Well, how do you practice with them without killing yourself? You get yourself a training knife. So I have a K-bar training knife. And I'm a huge fan of Spyderco. Here's a Spyderco training knife. As you can see, I took the clip off because that's how I carry my Spydercos. Here's a regular one. I'm not a knife snob. Some knife snobs absolutely don't like Spydercos, but I think they're awesome. They're good utilitarian knives. They're easy to open. I have one of these little cases that I like. Sometimes I'll carry this like clipped in my front of my pants, and you can pull it out really easy, again, without the clip. Not that I have a problem with clips, because here's a Spyderco knife with the clip. This is the advanced clip that you buy separately. That way, like, I'll have this in a vest pocket, my outer vest pocket, and it's deep. So you can't see it, you can't get to it unless you're getting to it. You put this on your front vest, and like if you're grappling with somebody and you have a knife clipped in a pocket on the front, they can get to it just as easy as you. I mentioned that in my last video. Another knife I like to carry on duty, this is the Raven 3 Cold Steel. Guys, this is a badass knife. Really like it. I have other various knives. Like, guys, you could get this cheap DeWalt knife. I got this for cutting yard or weed guard when I was doing a project in my yard, and I oiled it up and cleaned it up, and dude, this is a good little knife. It's cheap, it's inexpensive. You don't have to be a knife snob. You don't have to have like a $400 knife. For $400, I'm getting me a Glock or something. You know what I'm saying? I'll get the Blue Label 425 Glock or something. Knives are great. They're utilitarian, and I love knives. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm like a knife fanatic, but I'm not a knife snob. Utilitarian tool, not exotic ninja knives. I guess I am a snob in that I wouldn't carry the DeWalt on duty, but guys, it's a decent little knife. So there we go. PG is another little knife I carry. This one on duty because it also has a glass break end, and it's got the Tonto blade. Guys, Tonto blade is a really good blade. This is not a super spendy knife. It's well made. It's utilitarian, and I would say that it was, I don't know, $49, $50 tops. I mean, you start going over $100 on a knife, and it's like, well, why? You know. I'm a huge fan of karambits. I carry a karambit on duty. Really good knives. I mean, they're just really good knives. And I have training variations because you need to train with them. So I have training variations. Guys, you should have a good pair of training handcuffs. I have another pair that are chain, but this is asp cuffs, guys. You should have a good pair of training handcuffs because you can train through quickly. Here's something you need to know about asp. I love asp handcuffs. They're a little bulkier than the normal handcuffs, so you need a special case. But this is something you need to be aware of. This happens with all asp handcuffs. See how the bar went past? That is fine and dandy as long as you're aware with it. If you don't hear the click, then you know that you may have, with the person wrestling around with you, it might have went over like that. But what do we know about handcuffing? Position before handcuffing. Never introduce handcuffs into a situation until you have positional control and have it solidly locked in. Don't be like winging it. You need to have good, solid positional control. One last thing I wanted to cover. On my last video, I mentioned that I carry my handcuffs behind my gun. Guys, if you do a lot of Amazon like I do since COVID, God, what do you do with all your extra cardboard? I mean, my bin fills up really quick, but I carry a pair of handcuffs behind my gun. Again, what I failed to mention is I actually carry handcuffs in my outer vest, in a closed pocket in my outer vest, so I do have access to them from the front. Reaching behind can maybe be an awkward position for some people. When I first started law enforcement, a lot of people like putting cuffs in the small of their back because they said, oh, I can get to them from both sides, which is true, but also when you fall on your back when you're rolling with somebody, you hurt your spine. Guys, I have beat the dead horse. I hope this just wasn't all over the place. I just kind of wanted to do a follow-up from my last video about vests. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, concerns. If you want to disagree with me about something, that's great. I know one people will probably disagree about you should be encouraging everyone to carry a second gun. I mostly do, but guys, I get it. Especially like a small female officer, in you're fit and everything, but you don't have enough space all over your body. Putting a gun on your ankle can be really bulky and awkward. At the end of the day, statistically speaking, a backup gun, the chances of you needing it are extremely rare. Now, I said that once to a fellow officer. He goes, "Yeah, but I know a friend that used his backup gun to defend his life on duty," and that's cool. I'm so glad that worked out for the individual. Statistics don't change, though, just because you know one of those people. Statistically speaking, you may never need a backup gun. But the old adage in the military, one is none, two is one. That's why I carry multiple knives, that's why I carry multiple flashlights. So I recommend that you consider finding a decent backup gun. It doesn't have to be, I carry a Glock 26, which is identical magazines and everything for my Glock 27, and I'm an average sized dude, maybe 5'10", 180 pounds, and I can do it fairly easy. But some of the smaller officers today, there's only so much space on your person. A little tiny 380 like the Ruger or something, perfectly fine. People say, well, 380. Man, it's better than nothing. So anyway, I've gone too long on this, like I always do. I apologize. Everybody take care, stay safe. Like, subscribe, and share.
You have to play it again!
Tell me, when will it be enough for you?
It will never be enough! I only want to hear ya ding dong!
Let's roll. Hey, let's be careful out.